Next one. Do you think you can get another wife who will accept you with your tattoos, etc., if your current wife leaves you? See, if as long as you have the money, most important is money for any girl. That is just about it. That is why even 70-year-old men, 80-year-old men, many of these Western expats, they come down here to third world countries like Cambodia, Cambodia, same. Okay, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand. They come and they are literally searching for these young girls. In Philippines, even young girls as young as 12. Now they've increased the legalized age to 16 for sex mutually. So they come here and they're 70, 80-year-old. They have fascination for young, small, petite girls and they get. So why do they get it? It's not because of their amazing personality. Most of them are really fat, very ugly, hairy stomach and hair, and who the hell gets fascinated with them? But because they have money. So the first thing is money. Now, in my case, it's not just the money. Even when I didn't have money, I used to have girls. So imagine, even with this tattooed face, I used to still get girls. They used to always look at me like, what the hell? But then they realized there was a human being underneath, and eventually the tattoos would vanish. When you see a person, many times that thing that stands out, like if, for example, a person has a mole, but initially when you see them, it'll stand out, but after some time it just vanishes. So the same thing, the tattoos vanish, but then it's the gift of the gab, the charisma, the ability to connect as a human being. That is what matters, and that is where I absolutely excelled, because from the age of, I think, 12 or 14 or whatever, young, I never had the money. My parents never supported me. So it's like, how can I get the attention of girls? What should I say? I was very good at talking, very good at expressing myself. So I used to always sharpen my skills in talking, impressing girls. I would spend more time with women. And that kind of made me good. So the second one is the ability to talk, the gift of the gab, the charisma, the presence. I actually studied all this, okay? And that made me really good. And just so that you know, which I've never stated this, I consider myself absolutely the best in handwriting analysis, mind reading, body language analysis, face reading, palmistry, astrology. I've done all this, okay? Palmistry is okay, so. Astrology, I've spent years mastering all this, even the way to deal with females and all that. So, yeah, so I can get women, okay? So money, then the ability to speak, and with these two itself, you can get a partner. Need not necessarily be the title of wife. So now, can I get another wife? Easily. If you have money, if you have the second, that is the charisma, the ability to speak and whatever. Okay, so those two. Now, if a current wife leaves you, well, I've always told her, the day you feel it's a liability, you're free to leave. I've already married 3 times, 3 divorces. This is the 4th one. If this were to break, I don't think I would be interested to have another wife. I might have a partner, but not a wife. And definitely would not give the title of wife. And she knows this. She knows she has a lot more to lose than me, having to lose anything. And for her, it's her best interest that she stays married. That is why I have the upper hand. She doesn't. So it's as simple as. But I treat her well. I treat her with respect and love. Okay. Next one. Would you allow your child to get extreme face tattoos, body tattoos like you, and would you accept her if she were LGBTQ+? Okay. There are a couple of things here. Okay. First is face tattoos or body tattoos. See, tattoos is a very big commitment, a very big decision. That's why many youngsters when tell me, can I get a small tattoo here or here? I say, listen. Take a temporary one, put a sticker, you can change it. Because once you get with the needle and it goes there, it remains there. And as you grow, the skin stretches. Today I was a bodybuilder. I was almost 25 kilos with overweight and all that. And today I've shrunk down to, I think, 80. So thankfully for me, my tattoos do not look ugly. But in some cases where there's extreme weight loss, it looks horrible because there's sagging skin. You can just see extreme weight loss and sagging skin. You'll see the skin is like it's like sometimes 10 kilos of sagging skin. They have to cut it off, So thankfully for me, I didn't have all that. So if my child would want to get tattoos, I know how to discourage and I know how to play around. Like if suppose, let's say my baby is small and wants a tattoo, I would make sure that first I would make her experience what is a tattoo by taking her to a tattoo shop where I would bribe the guy in advance and make sure he gives her the most painful experience. And even if she cries, I'll hold her and make her go through an hour. I'll make it so traumatic she'll never want to do it again. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, that is if she really wants it. Number two is, if she really wanted to get, I would convince her that I would get her the world's best tattoo, the world's best design, but after the age of, like 20, if things are so extreme. See, because once they become an adult, once 18, 20, you can't force someone to do something, okay? So as an adult, you leave them. But my rules are very straightforward. As long as you're in my house, you follow my rules. You want to do your shit, your stuff, your way, get out of the house permanently, because you'll never come back. I'm not going to take you back. So that is a very big decision. And yes, I am very strict. Maybe it doesn't show, as a father, as a husband, as a breadwinner of the family. So there are no games here. I'm not joking around when I do my work. Like right now, you can't hear any noise because my wife and my kid are there. They can't mess around or even question. If I tell them I'm working, you will go inside. Whatever they're doing, program, friends, anything, everything stops. Okay? Because it's very simple. If they feel it uncomfortable and they don't listen, they are all going back to the village. I'll be alone here. So I have the upper hand for that. So they will listen. And one last thing is I constantly have communication with my wife and my baby. Always. And my wife spends the full day with the baby. Full day. The baby doesn't leave her side. So that bond is developed where she communicates to the child what is good and what is not good. And yes, one last thing is I'm mentally prepared how things go. So even before the age comes, I would have educated and had a conversation with my child about body tattoos, body modification, LGBTQ, sex, having a boyfriend, all this. So she would know smoking, drinking, drugs. So as a father, I'd make sure that all these areas would be addressed and covered so there'd be no surprises. Okay? Next is, and what would you do if she were LGBTQ? Well, that is a sexual preference. Once you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. So let's say my baby tomorrow tells me I feel like a boy. Fine, you want to feel like a boy, feel like a boy. But I'm not going to allow puberty blockers or chopping the breasts or surgery. Nothing of that sort. No. And yes, I absolutely supervise my child's social media and who my child interacts with. If I feel the college or the school my child is having bad company, I'll just take my child away from that. Okay? So LGBTQ is not a problem, but after you become an adult, you can take your decisions. But you should not be staying with me in my house, me paying the expense. No. Do your own thing. You can live your life the way you want. So I hope this answers your question. And thanks. Apologies if you feel offended. No, I don't feel offended. I look forward to my questions being answered politely. Politely. Ooh, I have to be polite. Okay. I hope I'm polite. Okay, so these were the questions by user number 1. Let's say user number 2.